I'm trying to understand the relationship that people have with, particularly with their pet animals, in this case, dogs. Yeah.
You're trying to understand.
Exactly.
And you know, if I could give you an easy answer to that question, I'd do it, but it is so difficult because it is such an emotional connection. Pet dogs and humans, they kind of like go together. In the world I live in, people have many reasons for wanting animals. Sometimes it's companionship. Sometimes people get animals because they want, quote, protection. They think the dogs are a good deterrent to crime. And in some cases, certainly it is. But I think most people who even want that find that dogs in the end mean much more to them than just that. And there is certainly a lot of study out there that tells us that dogs are part of the social system in the human family. They're part of social support, and so it's one of the reasons why people feel so good when they have dogs around them.
Is that perhaps something to do with having this constant loyal companion, you know, whose loyalty is unwavering?
Oh, yeah, I think undoubtedly. I mean, the reality is that we mistreat our dogs all the time, and they still come back for more. And, of course, it's probably partly they don't talk back to us and stuff like that. But the truth is they just want to be with us. They want to know what it is we need. What we just need to do is learn to communicate with them. A little bit on their level, because it's kind of, most people expect dogs to speak English. You know, if I say sit, you must sit. And the fact that I haven't really taught you properly, you know, doesn't enter most people's minds.
Oh, Roxy's my baby.
Yeah? What do you mean by that?
Well, she sleeps on the bed and she's always inside on my couches. She's the boss.
Yes.
I'm not the boss. She's my boss.
They actually rule my life because my whole life revolves around when I can take them for walks. When I take them to the parlor, I feel bad if they fell asleep at home because I'm not near them. I have to make sure that they've always got the correct food and the correct toys and snacks, and the TV gets left on for them, and everything actually revolves around the kids. So, yeah.
On the other side of the fence is another life for dogs, where people battle with even the most basic necessities. A dog's life here is hard, and many of them have to scavenge for food amongst the waste that piles up in spaces where children play. In this existence, a dog is at the bottom of a desperate food chain. There's a perception in the white community that Africans don't know how to relate to dogs. They ill-treat dogs and all this abuse towards dogs.
People should understand that starvation and poverty are still with us in South Africa. In fact, they are getting worse. People who live in shacks can barely afford food for themselves. So all they do, and I've seen them do it many times, they share their food with their dogs. It has always been part of the pampered rich people anywhere in the world to spoil their animals.
Black people in South Africa have a different perspective, perception, and sometimes attitudes towards dogs, specifically in this case. And white people, South Africans, also have a different understanding on how black people, for example, relate to dogs.
Yeah, it's true.
what is your understanding in terms of that?
You know, the thing is, I would hate to go into that deeply because, I mean, you probably know more about that than I do. My feeling is that there are lots of different relationships with animals, even within the white community. I mean, I see it all the time in the work that I do. So I often see people who are totally overboard with their animals, and I see people who for them a dog is just a dog. I know that there is a perception out there. Well, like I said, I think you probably know more about the perceptions than I do.
Don't know.
Oh, come on. The reality
Well, you deal more with animals than I do.
Yeah, but the thing is, yeah, there's certainly a feeling out there that that African people don't respond as much to dogs, particularly as do white people, or that they are not as much part of the family structure, perhaps, than as white people, and. Again, I've heard from white people who go into the townships and work with people just the kind of story that you were saying, that there are many people out there who go way out of their way to take care of their animals.
I got her when she was 3 weeks old, and I got her through a friend because I love animals and I actually love dogs as a pet. Because I feel dogs are good friends.
Yeah.
They are loyal. They don't complain. So they brought her when very, very small, and I never liked her when she was very, very little, but I had to. Like they say, you have to learn to love something.
Yeah.
You have to learn to love someone. So I learned how to love her, and she became very, very cute. I spent some little money on her, took her to vets and treated her. And yeah, we both became attached. And some black people, when I go out, they see the dog in my car, they jump out. Generally, most black people are very scared of dogs. Even these dogs that doesn't even bite, she just barks. Once without her barking, because of her dark fur or whatever it's called, people just think, oh, she's a vicious dog. because she's black. Yeah, she has very, very black color. And most of the times, if I'm going to a dangerous place, I just take her away.
Hey, Pops. What are you saying? Hey, Oli, what are you saying? Are you demanding?
Dad,
Yes.
you want a song?
What have you been up to, Oli? Yeah, you had fun today. Did you go for walking? When are you going for walking, Oli? Hey, sausage? It's no longer a sausage. In a case where you have people living alone like yourself, you don't have a partner, for example, in terms of that contact, that I'm not going to call human-to-human contact, have your dogs replaced that element?
To a certain extent, they have. They have replaced that. Yeah. I do have a lot of contact with people through my work. But it's that unconditional love that is the main thing. They love you however you are.
Yeah.
I just really need dogs in my life. I really do. I think, especially for people living alone, they need that contact, that warm contact, which they don't get.
Sure.
And also my grandchildren live, some of them in different countries and living quite a number of kilometres away. So I don't have them to kiss, cuddle and hug all the time. So my dogs do replace that.
Why is it?
And that need to give, that need to care for something, like you cared for children, like you cared for children my whole life, and then suddenly you left, there's nobody to really care for. So you go and get a couple of dogs so you can continue the cycle of caring almost like for children, because they are like children.
There have been numerous studies done on the effect that animals have in the health of people, for instance, emotional and physical health, actually physical health. So we know, for instance, that if you have a pet around you, that your blood pressure goes down, that you're more relaxed, that life is less stressed. So I think when you look at it from a scientific perspective, they are starting to show us one of the reasons why we just, even in our hearts, know that somehow I feel better when I've got dogs around.
You know, it's a pity more elderly people can't have dogs, because sometimes you think, well, what's even the point of getting out of bed? That's not my case, but I can imagine if you've really got nothing to get out of bed for. But if you've got a dog, you've got to get out of bed and make its food and take it for a walk. And, you know, so I think for children it's necessary so they can learn how to care for dogs. It's necessary to have dogs. I think at every stage in your life a dog fulfills a purpose.
The research that's been done, if we were to do race profiling, where are those studies based?
I would imagine most of them are done in European countries. I don't know that there have been any in Africa. But remember that the relationship between, I mean, if you accept the fact that humans are humans, no matter what color they are, the relationship between human and animal is going to be the same. It doesn't matter what race you are. I think it might make a difference. I don't know. I really don't know. But maybe, again, talking about the fact that the more attached you are to the animal, the more it does for you. So it depends on your relationship with the animal, I think. And that, of course, might depend on your culture.
I don't think black people would pamper their dogs like we do. I don't think they would. The dog, they would get a dog to fulfill a purpose, and they wouldn't pamper it. Maybe they wouldn't have the time or the resources to pamper. I don't know.
Probably more the time and resources for most of the people.
I don't think they would be likely to say, I'm going to the shop to get the paper. Come on, Brutus, get in the car with me. We'll go for a ride to get the newspaper. I don't think they would think of that, to do that. The dog would be there, and they would be happy that the dog is there and it's looking after the house. And I wouldn't think they'd be cruel to the dog. I just don't think they'd feel it necessary to take it in the car everywhere they go.
The way I see things is quite different. Like I would say I'm a refined black.
Yeah.
You see, I'm black, but I'm a refined one.
Explain that.
People say I'm a white woman in a black skin. Not all black people have dogs.
Yeah.
At least, let me say 2%. You go to the vet clinic. If I go to the vet clinic, I'm only the black person that is there having dog. I don't feel odd. I just feel ecstatic. You know, I just feel great. I said, wow, I'm really white person anyway. So you see, I've never had black friends that have dogs, but I've had white friends, Indians that have animals, cats and dogs, and they really, I would say they really motivated me to say this is how to take care of dogs. This is how to love dog. Not necessarily sleeping on their bed, but the way they touch them, they hold them, they kiss them, they play with them, it shows them that love. So it actually showed me how to love my own dog. So I've never actually had friends, black friends that I have black friends, but they don't have animals. I wouldn't say that they hate animals or they love. I wouldn't say they hate animals or they don't want to have animals, but I've never seen them with dogs or cats.
She's really a white woman. Yeah, man, you could have had this long time ago, if you were just less suspicious. Hey, Ebony. Yeah.
I just feel we should be kind to animals. Basically, we should be kind to vulnerable animals who can't act for themselves or think, or they just rely on us.